Hi PCO Youths, welcome to Midweek Chill. We thought that we come up with this program to connect with you in the middle of the week during these times where we are restricted or limited in our movements and not able to meet together physically as a youth group. And this Midweek Chill, what we want to do is just have some time to relax, distress, talk about different topics that may interest you, just have some light-hearted moments, but also we are looking at some matters that are deep in our hearts but hard to bring out as well. We are also looking to how to improve our skills during these few weeks where we are mostly at home. Make the best use of your time instead of just scrolling through your social media or watching mindless YouTube videos, right? So before we move on further, let me introduce you to some of my own friends right over here. So these are my little friends. You can see the fish. I've caught them off the wadi, and I really enjoy catching this fish out of the wadi, getting the plants and setting up the aquarium. It's something that I use for myself to chill, to my hobby, to relax. Unfortunately, of course, now with the virus, we want to limit our movement, so I haven't been to the wadi. The plants look a bit in a sorry state because the fish chew them up, and every few weeks I have to replace them. So what do you guys do to chill on your normal day? Do you have a hobby? It's good to have one, and I hope you get one where you can occupy yourselves and also to just enjoy life. Right now we're going to have two segments each time in Midweek Chill. The first segment will be called Plus Skills. It's a time where I try to introduce to you some things that you can do while you are at home over the next few weeks. Things that help you to add on skills into your life. In school we learn academic skills, educational skills, but there are also other skills that are profitable for our lives, whether in university or college or work, or just to have fun itself, alright? So that's called Plus Skills. Then we will have a more serious segment after that called Things That Matter. And that will be the time where we will delve into issues that matter to you as a youth, but sometimes you find it hard to bring it up because you may be embarrassed or conscious, or you really don't know how to bring it up, and we want to just take some time to bring it up into the open so that you feel and realize that you are not alone and that you will find some practical help for it. Let's begin with Plus Skills. For this first segment, what I want to do to introduce to you is web designing. Because we are all at home, so the only thing that we have much available to us is the internet. So why not take some time to learn a new skill like web designing? Now I've searched through the internet and I've looked for some very good sites for you, and there's a site here I will bring you through right now just to briefly show you what you can learn about web designing and practice it at home. Who knows, there may be some creative geniuses among you who will be good at doing web designing. Who knows, there will be some of you who will make use of it and set up your own blogs, set up your own websites to showcase your hobby. And who knows, maybe even later in life this will become one of your jobs, one of your areas where maybe you start your own business and you have your own company website as well. Be very useful for you. By the way, young people, just before we get into web designing, can I encourage you to go into the PCO Youth channel. I'll tell you about the playlist where we have put out worship songs for you, as you can see here, and we will encourage you to just listen to those songs we have already put there for you so that you can encourage yourself, sing along throughout the week to worship the Lord, right? So that's very simple. You go into the PCO Youth where you're choosing your videos to watch. You just go to here, playlist, and it shows you the playlist. Just click on the play all or the worship songs and choose whichever songs you want. So there's lots of websites out there that teach you how to design websites. I've gone through quite a number of them just to help you, and I found this website called Website Builder Expert particularly useful in helping beginners to learn how to do web design. Now all the sites that I will show you in this video, the links will be down below the description of the YouTube channel, so you can click them and go right into it without any problem. Now just briefly going through this website with you just to show you what it has. It says how to design a website in 8 simple steps, and the steps are here. What I particularly like is most of the time beginners want to jump straight into the design part, the template and how to put in the pictures and all that. But here it says to begin with your site's purpose and strategy, and that is actually very useful. Just going very quickly, it tells you this. What are you trying to achieve with your website? Is your site there just to display information, sell products, to get signed up? Because this will form the basis of how you want to design your website. But going back up there, now let's jump down to selecting a template or a theme. Okay, the rest you can read it for yourself. But coming to here, selecting a template or a theme tells you what kind of templates. Most web platforms now come up with fixed templates that you can use on, and that's suggestible for beginners. So it's very easy depending whether you're wanting to do a food website, whether you're wanting to do a dance website. And what I like here particularly is this part on branding. This is where the creative people or people who actually like design can learn a lot. First, it has part on color scheme, and here it tells you different colors evoke different responses or different thoughts from different people. For example, green for environmental, yellow for cheerfulness, orange for enthusiasm, red for vibrancy, and so on and so forth. So it's very useful, even if you're not doing web design, but just being someone who likes art, this is very useful. Then it also talks about font. Again, telling you how different fonts, serif, sans serif, bold, italics, and different sizes actually affect how your readers see it. Again, very useful not only for web design, but if you're doing presentations in your school, doing PowerPoints, again, very useful. Then it tells you imagery. Most of the time, a powerful image is important. We know that a picture paints 1,000 words, but how do you position your picture actually affects how people see it. And so you see there's so many things that we can learn in this website, and this particular website is very, very comprehensive. And this is just one of the articles. If you go back to its home page, which this is also available on your mobile, on your phone, if you want to use it from the phone. If you go towards the bottom of its homepage, you will see that there are many other useful articles to help us in doing web design, beginners web design. Now, having learned all this, in this website, it will tell you what it recommends to you. For beginners, I would suggest just going to WordPress, because WordPress allows you to build a website free of charge with very basic things that you can do, and that's sufficient, because you don't want to put in your money putting up a hosting and all that without actually knowing whether you're going to do it for long term. So young people, this is something that you can use after you've read the previous article on how to do it. Then go over to WordPress. Again, the link will be down at the bottom of the YouTube video. You can click on it and you can start your free website, and you can play around with it, because then it gives you hands-on web designing. And if you find that you really like it and that you really have an idea that you want to use or host up a website, go ahead and do it. Tell your parents about it, get permission of course, because you need to know about web security, also internet security, and then go ahead and see where it takes you. So that's web design for today's plus skills, where we can learn something new during this time where we are at home. Now that we've finished the plus skills, let's move on to things that matter, where we look at the issues that are important to you as a youth, but sometimes find it hard to bring it up. And the one I want to touch on first today is bullying. You know, when I was a kid back in primary school, I think about standard 3, or we call it the year 3, I used to get bullied, particularly during the recess time. Back then I was very short, very small. Whenever the class had to line up 2 by 2, I was always right at the front because I was the shortest and smallest. Being the shortest and the smallest, I became a victim of a bully from a higher year. So it came to the point where in recess time I would be afraid or can't enjoy myself, because I'm always looking around the corner of my eye, where is the bully going to come up from? And this bully was physically bullying me. He would hit me on the head and run away. And this was really, really spoiling my school experience. Now, at that time, I was afraid to tell the teacher, because I do not know what the teacher would do, and I'm afraid that the bully may take revenge. I was too embarrassed to tell my parents as well. But I thank God that at that time I had some good friends who were always with me during recess time, and they witnessed and they saw this bullying taking place. Now they themselves didn't get bullied because they were bigger size, but neither were they able to stop the bully because he would just appear out of nowhere, hit me and run away. My friends told me to tell the teacher so that we could take action, but I was too afraid. Now this went on for many weeks, and finally, without my knowing, my friends went and told the class teacher himself. And the next thing I knew, the class teacher called that boy from another class up and disciplined him. To be honest, at that point of time, I was still terrified because I didn't know after school whether the bully would take back his revenge on me. Thankfully, nothing happened, the bullying stopped, he never came and disturbed me again, and I was very thankful to my friends. Now, I know that there's no way to say what will happen after it was reported to the teacher. But if it was never reported to the teacher, then it is a definite 100% that every recess time I would be living in fear, and I would have spent my year 4, year 5, year 6 in primary school miserable. So I'm very, very thankful to those friends. And I want to address bullying today because it is also still prevalent, maybe in your schools. It is also prevalent in cyberbullying, where it takes on a new form. I think to many of you young people, you have seen it, or maybe you have even witnessed or been a recipient of a bully. Thankfully, I think most of the time it is not really a physical bullying, but a verbal bullying, where they call you names, make fun of you. There is also social bullying, where they tell other people not to be friends with you, and so you become isolated and alone in school. There is also cyberbullying. If you have a social account, whether it's an Insta account, Facebook, or any other accounts, and they will start posting pictures, doctored pictures that make fun of you. And actually cyberbullying is a big concern because in the past, bullying used to be confined in the schools from 9 to 3. And once school is over, the bullying ends. Unfortunately, with cyberbullying, it goes on 24 hours, 7 days a week, and that takes a toll on the people, on the victims. Now, bullying is actually very serious. We must take it seriously because doctors or psychologists have realized that bullying can have long-term effects on people as they grow up. True that 90 or more % of the people just go past it with nothing much happening, but there are people who get affected. Because of bullying, as they go out into adult age, they become isolated, they become fearful, they can be depressed, they can fail to function in society, they can find it so difficult just to make friends, and all because of the bullying experience back in school. And this is what I want to address to you young people so that you do not get such consequences in the future. Okay, the first useful website that I found for bullying and how to find solutions to it is this website called Help Guide. It is a general website on bullying, cyberbullying. Talks about what is bullying, as in terms of physical bullying, verbal bullying, social or relationship bullying, cyberbullying. Young people, I do encourage you, please take the time to read it, so that you can understand what is happening, maybe identify it happening with yourself. Understand that a lot of bullying goes on and people who are being victims think that it is part and parcel of life. It is actually not acceptable to a certain extent, so it's important you be informed. Or maybe you see something happening to your friend, always being made fun of, laughed at school, recognize that it is also something that's called bullying, alright? The effects of bullying and cyberbullying has been shown to, it makes obviously the victim to feel hurt. In extreme cases, physical health can be affected as well, such as anxiety or sleeplessness. To some extent, people who are bullied do not want to or want to avoid the place of bullying, so they don't want to go to school, or it could be wherever else is taking place the bullying, alright? Unfortunately, due to cyberbullying now, bullying takes place 24/7. In the past, in the school, it was just 9 to 3 and from Monday to Friday. But with cyberbullying, it's all the time and becomes even a greater traumatic or emotional effect on the victims. Now, hopefully, you do not reach to this point where it is so serious, where victims of bullying sometimes think about taking their own lives. Do know that we as your church people, your church friends, Pastor Lee, myself, and the parents are always available. Please come and see and talk to us, alright? Now, Sometimes when we are bullied, we wonder, why is it me? When I was small, I used to know. I didn't have to ask, why is it me? I knew because I was the smallest in the class, I was being bullied. But why do bullies bully people? Well, sometimes they want to make themselves popular, gain attention. Sometimes they're jealous of you. Sometimes they want to feel powerful. Here's something that we don't often see. Because the bullies themselves are being bullied, oftentimes it takes place at home where they could be facing abuse from some adult, and so they lash it out on someone weaker in school. This is not to give them an excuse to do it, but it does help us to understand why this takes place. This website talks about how to deal with a bully. First and foremost, very importantly, don't blame yourself. Many victims, young people, and please don't let this happen to you, blame themselves to say, well, it's my fault, I don't know how to stand up for myself, I'm not big enough, or I deserve it. Don't ever do that. You are beating yourself up even further. Alright? Learn to manage the stress from the bullying, and very importantly here, find support from those who don't bully. That means your classmates, your best friends. It could be your teacher, your counselor. In the church also, you can speak to the pastor or your youth teachers as well. Right? So please do go by here. It talks about tips for dealing with cyberbullying, which is slightly different. Very useful and very helpful. Again, the website link will be at the bottom of this YouTube page, so you can easily go to it. Okay, the next website on bullying is the Christian Response, or what does the Bible teach us about bullying. Again, the link is there at the bottom and you can follow it. Here it tells us about how the Bible teaches us to deal with bullying. Although obviously you don't find the word bully in the Bible, but nevertheless it does teach us principles on how we should handle it. And here I want to highlight to you, the first thing is, if you see something, see something, say something. Whether you are the victim of bullying or whether you see a friend being bullied, as was in my case when I was in primary school, my friends did something about it and it was really, really helpful for me. So here it says, I want to highlight to you, don't be afraid to tell others what's going on, whether you are the one being bullied or are merely the observer. If you are not being bullied, then you can be a tremendous blessing if you know some of your friend, classmate, or even just someone in school that you see when you go to canteen, the poor guy or poor girl is always sitting alone, or you see them being harassed or teased by different groups in the school. Go and be a blessing as Jesus would want you to be as well. Alright, so look through this website, many things that the Bible teaches us about bullying and how to handle it. Last one is here, this website, which I would recommend for you to show your parents or adults. This is more for the adults, but it's useful for you as well, young people, because it starts off with a real case talking about 13-year-old Brenna Davis and how she faced bullying in her school. And like many people, she kept quiet and it resulted in consequences as a result of that. I will encourage you to share this with your adults or your parents. We will also be telling your parents about it because it provides useful tips and useful helps on how to spot if a child or someone else is being bullied but the person is not saying so, and what can be done about it as well. So I've been through the websites with you and I hope you will look at it and really just reach out. Know that you are not alone. As the statistic says, 6 out of 10 victims who are bullied in school never tell anyone, not even their friends, and even less tell an adult. But really, this just only emboldens the bully to not only bully you, but to bully others as well. And the consequences could be long-term. Myself, Pastor Lee, are available if you want to talk to us as well. You're most welcome. You can get our WhatsApp from your parents, they have our numbers, or you can email us at the PCOYouth@gmail.com. We strongly encourage you to reach out to someone or even just to a best friend. It's very helpful when you are not carrying the burden all by yourself, but you have someone to share it with. Also understand that bullying is not acceptable, and that if you yourself are a bully, then you need to stop, because it is very serious. It may seem very harmless, it may seem like good fun, good jokes, but really, think about the person, how you are destroying a person's life. So that's all for the midweek chill for this first one. and we will meet again next Tuesday. If there are topics that you want us to dwell on or to talk about, please just put on the comments under the YouTube channel here, or just contact us and let us know, and we will see how we can deal on it. Have a blessed week and know that Jesus is with you. God bless you, young people.